Hello everyone, myself Dr. Shreyas. So I graduated from Bangalore Medical College and Research Institute in 2021, and soon after that I served for about 6 months in a primary healthcare center as a part of my compulsory service to the government. So once that got over, so I started my regular preparation for civil service exams. So it's then that I came in contact with team Learn with Nataraj sir for my anthropology classes. And ever since that, I have been associated with team Learn with Nataraj. Initially, I had less focus on anthropology optional as such. The first time writing mains, so I had less focus on this, and I was mostly focused on GS for prelims as well as mains. So that fear was there. How will I go about my optional? So I'm not given enough revisions and things like that. But the test series particularly helped in allaying that fears because it had a holistic coverage of all the nooks and corners of the syllabus. So once I went through the entire process of 20 tests, so I felt really confident that even though I was not at this level of preparation before I started, so once I finished, I got that confidence. The exam is doable, and because I also got it simulated thoroughly in the full length test series and all, so that gave me the confidence. So it particularly helped in holistically, first of all, covering the syllabus, because without covering the syllabus, there's a lot of fear that gets generated. So it gets really good feeling if you have a holistic coverage. So first thing is, it gave me a holistic coverage of the syllabus, and it also tested our conceptual clarity. So in that sense, it also helped us interlink different aspects of the syllabus. And it was also kind of flexible to the schedule that we generally have. A lot of clashes, a lot of GS tests and optionals. And if we miss a particular test, generally so happens that we just miss it and will not be able to take it again. And that is a different schedule. A lot of clashes happen. So as a result of that, the flexibility that SIR's test series, Nataraj's test series allowed, really helped me cope with both GS and anthropology. First of all, as I already told, it is the flexibility of the schedule according to how we are going to finish balancing both GS and anthropology as and when required. So we can have the little bit of flexibility so that anywhere here and there, if there is some mismanagement of time also, we'll still be able to complete all the test series. So that is a flexibility. First point is flexibility. And second thing is the coverage of syllabus, we already told. So the sir used to have what is called as bonus questions, where some aspects of syllabus are not covered in a particular test or something. So he will have bonus questions where he will also try to cover the other aspects of that particular section. So if biology is there, so only few of them he has covered, means other will be covered in bonus question. And he used to ask us to say that, so since you can always do something extra, so you also go ahead and write those bonus questions. So since sir said, we also wrote bonus questions. Few of my friends also had taken test series. So we also went ahead and wrote the bonus questions. So that way, it is not only those 20 tests, we have also written much more because bonus questions included. So that gave me a holistic coverage of the test series. And third specificity about Sir Nataraj's test series is they're more or less simulating the UPSC pattern, because it is not any other test series where you are just picking some previous year questions and trying to make it as a question paper and give it like that. Not like that. Because UPSC, as we already know, you are unpredictable. So they always try to go ahead. They will not repeat what they've done previously in their own papers. So they try to always bring in something new, something interlinked, something to think in the exam hall. So all of that really happened in the test that Nataraj sir also gave. So that way I really felt in the exam that it is just a continuation of Sir's test series, Nataraj's test series. So that way, the intricacies of the UPSC pattern of questions were also there. So I could feel that when I was actually writing the actual exam. So the simulation of the examination, both in the nature of questions as well as interlinking of concepts, the known unknown ratio. So all of that almost simulated UPSC. So that is another specificity. And another aspect is value addition that he gave after each test. So generally within 1 week he used to provide relevant value addition. So much so that if we go through that value addition, there is nothing that I need to Google or go to some research paper or go to some other material, go find out, note it down. What is this, which year, which scholar? So I don't need to really go back and see any other source for that particular question. So that way it saved me a lot of time also, because when we are running short of time, we have to manage a lot of things. So just going through the feedback for a limited period of time also and noting it down, so really helped me. So whatever job is generally put on us, so to some extent the validation taken care of all of that. So that helped. And some questions also, it is exploring new dimensions that is generally not asked as a regular part of syllabus. So they're all there in the syllabus, but there's a new dimension that we never think of in that part of the syllabus. Some questions really explored the aspect of the syllabus that is not explored. So how is that this can happen? What has been asked? How is that I can actually handle with whatever I know? So that also happened when I was writing the test series. So this is how any competitive examination generally they try to make a blend of all these things and create a level playing field for people who have always been reading it for so many times. And first timers, freshers, for all of them, they generally want to create a level playing field. So that way, that also was included in the test series. So that helped. It has definitely helped me improve my understanding in the way that there's always some part of the syllabus that we know, we have read about, that's been covered in the books, the regular sources, and things like that. So that is one thing. So there is a scholar's point of view and things like that. But it was only when we blend this knowledge that is there in theories, books and all, along with what is happening in contemporary society in the field of, it may be, for example, society or tribal India or something like that. So those aspects were covered in the test for many of this. If you don't know, generally value addition will take care of that. So that way, what is happening in contemporary will come in question. So when you write and go back and read the value addition, you will cover that also. So contemporary and the unknown part will be taken care in the value addition. So that way, you will already know something about the question. So then you also interlink what you don't know, what is contemporary, something in addition to what you already know. So when some more of knowledge and information gets joined to what you already know, so that is definitely going to enhance our understanding. This has really helped me improve in the level of understanding of concepts of anthropology. I would say that brought in both the positive as well as negative part of the performance. So Nataraj sir always he has a column for your strengths as well as your weakness, and then overall comment. So as a three part feedback sir is prepared for each of the papers. So that way we will know what is your strength. So I will also know what is my weakness, and he also has a blend of both. So when you say, so this is what you have, so do more of that. So this is what you lack, so avoid that. So finally, we'll know what is our strength and weakness. So particularly, I have to be very specific about this just before the exam. So tomorrow is the exam. So I say, so sir just told one thing just before the exam. Sir just told one thing before the exam. Just take screenshots of all those feedbacks that you have had for the 20 tests. So read those strengths, read those weaknesses, so that you will be aware just before the exam. When you go into the exam hall, you know what is your cumulative strength, what is your cumulative weakness. So as much as possible, less of your weakness and more of your strength. Just try to execute to the best of your abilities. So you'll be giving your best on that particular day. So I did that, and that really helped me, because just going through your strength and weakness before you go to that exam hall really makes you very conscious of what you write in the exam. So that really helped me. So Nataraj sir always focuses even in class also, even when he evaluates our papers and gives feedback, he always tries to bring in conceptual clarity. So if we are clear about the concepts, then we'll be able to easily grasp that particular aspect of what we study in whatever is happening around us. For example, it may be news in the society that we generally see. Even as we were going through the classes, this was very evident. The examples we used to tell from our society, from our culture, in our village, we have a celebration, for example, things like that. And after this, also after going through the test series, many of the concepts, the challenges that we generally read, I was able to pick and okay, so this is the concept that is happening. So this is actually real. I really felt that. Recently, there's a news about, for example, Odisha mein the Land Transfer Act related to tribals. So we read that one of the main challenges of tribals is land alienation, because tribals don't know how land goes in records, and how to have records with respect to land, and community ownership of land. They don't have land records, so easily they'll be lured by moneylenders or middlemen and non-tribals. They'll easily take over the land for very less monetary benefits and things like that. So because of that, so tribals are in the losing end of land. They go for land alienation. So recently, Odisha government, the cabinet had a decision that the previous law which prohibited default transfer of land without permission from tribals to non-tribals, that legislation was diluted, and so there was a lot of backlash related to that, and finally the government withdrew that decision, saying that no, that protection of law for land transfers to prevent land alienation will continue. So then I understood that how important one legislation can be, and why legislations are designed the way they are, and why not this kind of legislations in, let's say, Karnataka or Tamil Nadu, because here the kind of tribal population and the kind of challenges that is here in different state is totally different. But in tribal heartland of Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, this is a very serious issue, and they have dedicated legislation for that. And the kind of backlash that resulted there, by that we understood that this is a very serious issue for the population out there. So, but the same kind of minor changes that happened in Karnataka, or else, let's say, in Tamil Nadu, something where tribal population is very less, would not have had that much of backlash. So we know how contextually laws are designed to particularly protect a vulnerable population, and how laws and legislations, even though tribals may not understand the intricacies of that, but indirectly they'll be protecting that. So I could relate like that. So that way, my understanding of picking concepts wherever I see around me. So we say, you have to be proactive when it comes to understanding and analyzing, having opinions about things happening around us. That's one of the intentions. So that way, it has helped me really in that direction. Sir provided me holistic guidance, not only for anthropology optional, but also for my entire mains preparation, even prelims included before that. General studies, essay, optional, ethics, all of that was holistically covered. So first thing is, he helped me in charting out a holistic plan to what is the weightage that has to be given to GS as well as optional. So what is important, which is the area that we generally score. So what is the area that makes difference, and things like that. So I was initially completely messed up of how exactly I'll be able to organize the time, where I have to go. So the entire focus that we generally have in prelims just continues like that into mains also. Same kind of weightage that we have for GS generally continues. If not for sir's guidance, I would have not been able to manage enough time for optional. So first he told that I have to focus a lot on optional. So I just focused on optional a lot, apart from daily answers for GS. So that way, I was keeping in touch with GS with whatever I know. And I have to tell this, that he told one thing, that I also held this fear that I was not given that much of revision for GS, and so this issue was there. So he told me one thing, he was also having this fear, so do I know enough? So have I done enough revisions to start writing answers? And that fear was there. So he actually forced me to start writing with whatever I have. Just told he just start writing with whatever you know. So only when you write, you know what you know. So whether you are able to bring it in the time and the demand of the question. If you after you write an answer, if you know that you've delivered to the need of the question, that is more than enough. So just add few more points to give 5-10 minutes more to that. So then move on. That's all. So if you don't feel that you lack there, then you basically find out more. There's a lot of technologies, Google, and find out to the relevant sources and find out. That way, to a minor part of my day, so until afternoon, I was able to focus on GS, and later on I was able to focus on Anthro. So that way I was able to dedicate a lot of time to Anthro. So that is that. And how to balance this was the most important thing that he told. And he also told the areas where we can actually stand out, because strengths and weakness may. So if you know that this is some unique strength of yours, you can actually stand out. So he told me how to stand out on certain areas. So if you have your weakness in some area, definitely we can bring down that weakness somewhere else, because we will have that. So he spotted my weak and strong areas, and that way he really helped me with his personalized guidance. So I'm very thankful to Nataraj's personalized schedule that he advised me to follow. So that way Nataraj's guidance had made a lot of difference. The specific advice that really made a lot of difference in my preparation was with respect to time management. So this was a huge problem for me. So I really felt I will go and I will crash land in the exam, not able to finish the papers, and it used to be really worrying issue for me. So one thing that really helped was Nataraj sir just said you are not able to balance time. So that means you should find out how much can you realistically deliver in the examination. So if you are given 2 pages for 10 marker, if you say this much of time you cannot deliver, so just be realistic and honest to yourself. You can't write this much. So one thing is, he told me to cut down on the amount of writing that I do. So he told you only write uh, 1 page and then a quarter of another page. So then you're basically initially only canceling it out that way. So all you have got is only not 2 pages, because you can only write 1.5 page max of max. Half a page you cannot write. If you write and try writing that, you're not going to finish the paper. So if everybody else has 2 pages, you only have 1.5 page. Whatever you have got to tell for the 10 marker, in that 1.5 page only you're supposed to tell. So that way, I was able to finish the paper, thankfully. And doing this very early on, I think for about 12th or 13th tests for all the FLTs, for about 50% of the tests, I wrote this way, only writing limited amount of space. So remaining, I initially only used to cancel that. So I was able to finish the paper only because of this. So that was a huge difference in ensuring I finished the paper. So that way. And then in the entire 3-month preparation, the second thing was that specific advice that Nataraj sir provided was to write what we already know. So to write what I already know, and without having to wait to be a perfectionist. To remove that perfectionist attitude, you have to write is a classical way of preparation. You have to do your notes, and then you have to revise it multiple times, and then you're going to write the answers and all that. But that much of time was not there. If I had gone with that perfectionist attitude, I would not been able to cover this and also even perform the way I performed in the examination to satisfaction that I could provide in these 3 months. So that way it was very helpful. So dumping that perfectionist attitude and writing whatever I knew, and cutting short on the amount that I wrote in anthropology so that I could manage time. So two of most important advices I would say Nataraj provided me transformed my performance on that particular day. First thing is the holistic coverage of syllabus, and second one is the novelty of questions. it is not that it's directly picked. Lot of engineering that is going into the questions so as to ensure that as many dimensions are covered in case of like 20 marker or 15 marker. So as many dimensions are there. So I would like to pick a question so that I'll be able to give a better context. There's this question about uniform civil code and tribal societies. So we know that recently Uniform Civil Code was in discussion and a lot of opposition to that was also there. So if you have to take this question, it goes like this, 20 marker. Analyze the potential implications of implementing a Uniform Civil Code, the cultural practices and customary dispute resolution systems of tribal communities in India. Discuss the concerns raised by tribal groups and constitutional safeguards provided to protect their rights. How can the preservation of cultural identity and the need for social change be balanced in the context of the Uniform Civil Code, 20 marker? So here we can see that there are multiple parts to this question. So one is, I would like to divide this into the known part and the unknown part and current part and interlinking. So analyze the potential implications of Uniform Civil Code. So here we have to go into multiple. The one dimension is the impact of Uniform Civil Code and tribal societies. So this is, we generally know what is going to happen to culture, because tribal culture is very distinct. It is having their own system of cultural practices, and if you want to, and the diversity of tribal societies that we have in India will probably be affected if we have one way of culture. That is one. But the second thing is, Nataraj has tried to bring in the dispute resolution system. Now this is one part that makes you thinking. So Uniform Civil Code. So here you have to bring in the diversity of dispute resolution systems. So the static part is what is a dispute resolution system? What are the foundations of dispute resolution systems in tribal societies? And now you have to interlink what can happen if a particular way of dispute resolution is a common thing that is brought about using UCC, and now you have to interlink. So this is a potential area where you have to interlink. First is implications you can write. But second thing is, then you have to sit and think, okay, how can I connect this to particular specific aspect called dispute resolution systems? And then concerns raised by groups like constitutional safeguards. This is a direct part of the syllabus. So concerns raised by tribal groups and constitutional safeguards provided. So now constitutional safeguard is a known part, as I already said. Then preservation of cultural identity and need for social change be balanced in the context of Uniform Civil Code. So here you are being taken in a particular direction that is already on the expected lines. So we cannot say that outright we have to have everything that is there in Uniform Civil Code to be rejected. So what are those aspects? If at all Uniform Civil Code comes, there are potential benefits also. We say that Uniform Civil Code means all negatives, and that particularly with respect to tribal societies. But there's also one part which says that it is not all bad. There are some aspects that are good also. So they want you to explore that area also. So for a 20 markers, reading all of this and splitting it into multiple parts and trying to cater to the demand is again going to be challenging. So that way, if we have to, this is one sample question, so there are many questions like this. But although it is not completely like this, so there are easy questions, medium questions, difficult and analyzing kind of questions. So it's a blend of all that. So what sets us apart, as I already started with this kind of the intricacies that go into this. So basically they are trying to simulate as much as possible. That is one. And I've already, in the initial part of this video itself, I've discussed it is bonus questions. Bonus questions is also very unique because it will help us cover more questions. In that way, syllabus will also be covered. So that one. First is bonus questions, and then simulation, and having multiple parts to the questions to ensure that known and unknown, both of them are clubbed together. And then the novelty of questions. So most of the questions are not something you will find in any question bank. So new kind of dimension is always trying to be explored in the same old syllabus, in the same syllabus that's always been there. So how do we try to explore something new? Specific aspect I liked about the test series done with Nataraj is this kind of interlinkage that is trying to be created in the questions. So that will make us think and be prepared for the such kind of questions in the exam also, which is most likely to happen. That is another strength. And this way, these are all the elements that ensure that the whole cycle is completed. So from pre-test, test, post-test, value addition, course correction, syllabus coverage, new kind of questions, trying to handle new kind of questions on the exam hall, and trying to handle those with whatever knowledge you already know. So then that is going to basically complete it. So the whole cycle will be completed. So focusing on that entire positive cycle of components when it comes to test is a specialty of the test series, I would like to say. Another dimension that has been influenced by the test series is the confidence levels were really boosted. I would say because of multiple factors. So if you have to say why is that somebody, how is that somebody is able to develop the confidence, it is mostly because of the clarity of concepts, the number of repetitions that we tend to have on any aspect of syllabus, and the positive feedback that we get after performing in the actual exam kind of situations. So trying to simulate that, and if we have a positive performance there, and generally we will also have a collateral effect that it will be possible to handle a situation like that in exam also. So because of that, I think there was a huge advantage on that line, because constantly going through the entire process. So you would say being underconfident about things, and finally even completing the test, the 20 tests itself, which I thought I was unclear about when to what extent I would be able to complete. So completing the process, as I already said, completing the cycle gave me a lot of confidence, because if you have to draw like a pie chart or something, the unknown part will be taken care by the value addition part. So when I said the value addition came, and that is integrated into what I already know, and also the confidence of handling the unknown questions. So this will always be there. So what if there will always be different questions that come up in the exam? Will you be able to handle it, and things like that? So even without knowing much about such questions, with whatever I knew and the value addition that I got, using that I could handle the questions. So handling the unknown, the fear of unknown also. If it is unknown also, it is the same unknown for everyone. And I was also able to handle them and get decent marks, at least an average answer for those things I did not know. So I could do that. So that actually helped me get the confidence. And having clarity about the strengths and weakness also kind of gave a lot of confidence. And after writing those 20 tests, even seeing those 20 test bundles, actually saw those test bundles and the other answers that I wrote, everything I just piled up and took a photograph of that and went to the exam. So that also kind of gave a lot of confidence. If I say even after doing that, if I feel underconfident, that doesn't make any sense. So by seeing the work that I've done in the last 3 months, that actually gave me confidence. I've done everything that I can do. So it's all about just implementing. So it's just one more set of tests. So written 20. So plus 2, it is just going to be 22. So that kind of this one also gave. And last minute tips that Nataraj sir always made sure that he always has a call the day before the examination. Tomorrow is the examination, so in the evening generally he calls. So Nataraj sir made sure that he had a call just before the examination also, both before GS as well as Anthropology. So in the evening he ensured that he had a call. And so some last minute tips about the strengths, weaknesses, and the last minute confusions that we tend to have, and how to manage sleep, and how to maximize revisions within the limited time that you have a few hours before examination. The mindset before the exam, how should it be like? Not to discuss things to papers that's already over, not to discuss anything with other aspirants who are there. So they would have given multiple attempts, and they will be in different stages of examination, different levels of familiarity with questions. So discussing that will again have an impact on the mindset. So starting from ever since the preparation all the way till just before going the exam. So all the stages he continuously supported, guided me throughout. So that way, the different challenges that come to the level of confidence, I think, was taken care. So and he made it very specific, he not to discuss too much of anything in and around the exam hall. How do you go about very much. So both with respect to the entire course of preparation as well as the mindset. So I think his support has always been really great. So throughout, so I'm very thankful to Nataraj sir for that. So that is about the confidence levels with respect to the exam as far as that is concerned. I'm so grateful to Nataraj sir for his support. Adds to Nataraj sir's test series of anthropology's quality is that the novelty of questions. So and the weightage that is given to all sorts of questions. So it is not that generally we feel that the tougher the paper, the more is the quality of questions. So I would disagree with that, because quality is not just about making the paper difficult, but it is trying to emulate the exam that we're trying to face as much as possible. So that way, giving the fair amount of weightage to easy, medium, as well as difficult questions. So that is what the simulation is what adds to the quality, rather than just purely having one goal and motto, okay, I want to make the paper as different or as out of the world as possible. So that way, sir always balanced all the aspects in his paper. So and otherwise, as I said, he always makes us think in the exam hall. So known, unknown. So it is going to be blended, and contemporary also. So known, unknown, contemporary. So futuristic. So all aspects will be blended. So for example, if I have to pick one more question, we can probably pick that to specifically talk about that. So let's say explore the role of biological anthropology in studying the impact of pandemics on population dynamics and genetic adaptations. This is again, there are some terms the meaning of which will exactly not be able to sum up, but still these kind of questions which are kind of open, and you may even feel vague about that, but still these kind of questions also come. For example, pandemic, something is current, so that part is current. Population dynamics and genetic adaptations. Now, what is population dynamics? It can be very broad, but generally we have to take some aspects from the syllabus itself, with the growth rate of the population and death rate, and these kind of various dimensions will generally come in the topic of population. We can bring it there. And genetic adaptations. See, one way he has tried to link adaptation, the static part of the syllabus, as well as current. So three of them have been interlinked. And if you say one more question, that is can be as basic as culture of Homo erectus, stratigraphy and its limitations. So these are all 10 markers which are generally kept that way. So in the exam also mostly like that. So 8 to 9 questions will be known, and 1 or 2 questions in 10 markers which are compulsory will be unknown, or they want you to think there and write. So that way there are easy questions also, there are questions to think also, and there are also questions which are moderate, where a good level of preparation will make us go have a good footing in that area. So it's a good mixture of this. So that is what adds to the quality of the questions. Careful selection of keywords also, I think, is one of the strengths of the Learn with Nataraj test series. Keywords and novelty, and a good blend of different types of questions, and a good and very well thought kind of balance that is given to different variety of questions is what is going to add to test series. I would definitely, because of so many of those points that I've already listed, and according to my personal experience, would definitely like to recommend the test series as well as classes of Learn with Nataraj Anthropology uh, for civil service exams, because of many points that I've already discussed. But it is something that uh, is going to help an aspirant in any stage of preparation. So, provided you've had a good basic understanding, and if you have had multiple attempts also, even for them, there is some scope to improve, because sir, through his analysis, he's never going to say that it's all good, and his level of feedback is always like, whichever level you are, he's always trying to give something extra to improve upon that. So even for people, aspirants who have had multiple attempts also, there's always something to take, and there's not much to be disappointed for even beginners also, for on those like from first or second mains also. Even for complete beginners also, sir make sure that whatever is required, he puts in all the efforts to give the value addition, the timely guidance, and personalized feedback that ensures that whatever limitations are there, that in the field of anthropology, in the mains test series, he ensures that all of that is catered to. So, and the simulation is simulation coverage. So whatever we say na paisa vasool. So whatever for the money that we give, it is all the returns that matter. So coverage of syllabus, the number of questions, the additional questions to bonus questions, and value addition, personalized feedback. So it has everything that an aspirant is looking for in test series. So definitely I would recommend on a personal note, because having gone through this, I definitely recommend this to all the fellow aspirants who've been looking for a test series in anthropology.